Alright, haulers. Hello and welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. We're back on the truck, rolling out here in Sheffield, still trying off some new stuff. Whoops, a little bit overcorrecting there. Trying to start off the episode moving rather than, just sitting and going through that. It is raining, so it kind of makes more sense anyways. It's always raining here, so it is what it is. But we are on our way to pick up some concrete beams. It is a heavy load, so it gives us an opportunity to try out our new tag or lift axle. I don't know if I think a lift axle and a tag axle are the same thing, but I don't know if one of them's like turning versus lifting or something like that, so let me know. But we are on our way to ITCC Sheffield to pick up a load of concrete beams, which are heading up north. I want to head towards Aberdeen and Edinburgh and those places to kind of get that area explored in the north. I want to explore the entirety of the UK before we go any further. And we're gonna knock out like one country at a time, hopefully. But it is going from ITCC here in Sheffield, Great Britain, to Posped, Carlisle. So that should give us, that should give us about 6,000 euros on the mark, which will be awesome. And that way we can keep bringing in the money and hopefully soon be able to hire another driver. But this will also be my first heavy haul in the UK, which will be awesome. Should already be good to go for us. Oh my god, UK, you need to calm down with your bumps. First one nearly took my entire bumper off, and that one nearly flipped my truck. Holy cow. Here she is, so we'll go ahead and we'll hook up. Should not need beacons, I don't think. I don't know, I don't know about length. That's my only concern with this trailer, is the length of it. Actually, I'm gonna have to check the width too. If it is too wide, then I am gonna run with beacons. I wasn't sure if it was just the fact that it was such a heavy load that I had to worry about, but it looks like it might be wide enough too that it requires... Whoa, slow down. Nope. It doesn't want to go. I think I missed. I think it skipped over the fifth wheel and then I hit the trailer. I don't think it actually went anywhere near it. See, the fifth wheel, I can feel it hitting. And I don't know if I'm just off to one side or not. Alright, there we go. Now we're hooked up. A little bit of trouble on that one. Let me go ahead. Let's check the weight. We're going to put our axle down. I should have done that before, I think. Yeah, you can see just how much of a difference that made. I'm going to go ahead, check the trailer, and then we can hit the road. Alright, so we are now in the truck again. I did check the trailer. It is both wide and long, so we're going to run with beacons. And I'm not going to include the "that's what she said" joke this time, because I don't want that to become overused, but I'm gonna say it. So we're just gonna have to watch here. So we are gonna run with beacons just because of those two things, so that's okay. We'll go ahead and we'll throw them on here as we come out. We're gonna come out this entrance just instead of going through that extra intersection. Oh, excuse me, had to sneeze there. I'm gonna cut that out so you guys don't have to hear it. I'm actually sick. I'm getting over a cold right now of some kind. I don't know what it was, but randomly started feeling crappy. I'm finally able to record on the last day that I have the opportunity to do so, but dude, you're gonna get hit with this trailer. You need to watch it. But yeah, that would have been the end of me there if I had sneezed in the middle of driving. We're gonna take our time here because I don't know how this trailer is gonna act. I'm not used to these turn axle trailers yet. Although our last one was. I think the last one more just kind of follows. I want to know how that works. Like, how does the... we don't have that in the US at all. If you have a trailer that's this long, you've got the axles at the back, and you need to figure out how you're making that turn. Typically, it means going extra wide. We don't have those turn axle trailers. I would imagine they're not only more expensive to produce in the UK than, like, a regular trailer, but, they're way more complex, so I wonder how that works, or if it would even be feasible to do such a thing in the US. And we're at a crawl here. We should be okay. We do have enough horsepower, but it is struggling on this incline, so we're just gonna take it slow, do what we need to do. But I did mention in the last episode, towards the end of it, that I was talking about if I was to build a homemade cockpit. So, if I was to build a homemade cockpit, I would build it, with a way to set it up with multiple things. So, flight sim and trucking sim and stuff like that, because I'm just a simulation gamer. I always have been. I'm thoroughly looking forward to Flight Simulator 2020 and stuff like that. So I would love to have the opportunity to do such a thing in like my own homemade cockpit. The way I would probably set it up would involve, switches over my head, switches off to the side, almost a cockpit that fits, it's a one-size-fits-all type of deal. But if I was to do it, and I had the feasibility to do it, I would love to do a series on actually building it and all that stuff, the wiring and that, because I'm actually very much a hands-on, build this, build that type of person. I have been since I was little. I was very much the kid that my mom would buy me these little model trucks, and then I would take them apart and make new things out of them and stuff. Like, I think I rewired a truck too at one point when I was like super little. I don't remember that exactly, but I hear that one occasionally. But I'm definitely one of those people. I'm a huge follower of people like that. People like ClickSpring recently popped into my thing again. I've been really binging some of his videos again. He does a lot of stuff with watchmaking and working with brass and steel and metal turning and stuff like that. Like he's really, I've not seen him yet make a video I haven't thoroughly enjoyed, so definitely check him out. Whoa, that was a great voice crack. Oh, I just love the fact that I'm 20 years old and my voice is still cracking and doing whatever it wants to do. But yeah, back to what I was saying, Jimmy Dresta, sorry. He's fantastic. I followed him for forever. I love his stuff. He's always putting out these really cool projects. Bob, I think his name's Bob from I Like to Make Stuff. He does some really, really cool in-depth projects. I think he just posted one about a greenhouse that he made for someone. He didn't really, he helped build it. The other guy, I believe, designed it, if I read right, because I read his description on it. But I'm very much I was always outside trying to think of another project. Growing up, nearly every weekend I was at my grandfather's and we were building this or that or whatever, and so, I'm very much that kid, very much that person. I love building anything I can build. I'm a 20-year-old grown man with a bucket of Legos that is a giant Rubbermaid tote worth of Legos. I'm still very much into that. I want to get back into it more because a lot of the stuff that I have is pretty old. But I've actually been considering lately, if I do get some more, actually doing a stream, putting some of that stuff together just to chat and see what people are doing. I think that would be kind of fun. And it gives me a way to get back into streaming that doesn't involve all the setup of having to set up a simulator and set up all this stuff. And people claim that streaming is easy, and it's really, really not. Claiming. Oh, stroke. Streaming is, even if you do streaming as a hobby, if you take it seriously and you do it the way everyone else does it that gets paid for it, you are working a full-time job and not getting paid for it. I mean, all the little things that go with it to make the show go smooth. I need to get over here, sir. I need you to go. I am desperate for some fuel here. We're going to come right over into this lane as quick as we can to get out of people's way here, but I have been trying to get fuel for quite a while. I was thinking before we hit the ferry last episode, because just as we were coming into town to hit the ferry to come to Great Britain, I started hitting my hour limit, so I had to be really careful, and I had decided that I wanted to stop and get fuel, but then because I was so close to going over on time, I decided to just skip it and keep keep moving and hit the ferry. That way I could sleep on the ferry and then hit fuel on the other side. But yet I haven't hit a fuel station to do so this is good. But we're gonna fuel up here. It's gonna be a little, well, we should be good. It might be a little tight getting through here, so I'm gonna be careful because that Renar Logistics truck right in front of me. But there we go, we're good to go here. So let's go ahead, let's move out. We're gonna come tight here. We're gonna go barely around him. Hopefully the trailer will turn. We're gonna go wide, that way it'll turn the other way. And just like that, we are on the move. Goodness. But yeah, so streaming for me is a pain. I guess someone too got carjacked and shot on stream or something like that, and then their channel got banned. I don't know the full story, so I'm not gonna make a comment like on like for certain. But if that's the case, you know, someone's streaming and then they get, you know, carjacked and shot, and it's not their fault, and then they get banned on Twitch. Like, come on, Twitch. Well, you know, be supportive. Don't be a douche. Not that hard. Okay, this guy's gonna do that. I'm just gonna move over then. I'm just gonna come over the second time. I don't know what it is with the AI. Maybe the AI is too friendly, but don't stop. Just get going and get out of my way, please. I hate when people stop and wait for you to do stuff like that. Especially like if you're in real life and you're stopping where, you know, there's a line of traffic going one way and then traffic flowing in the lane next to it, and they have to go through the lane of traffic that's, you know, stopped to make a turn somewhere to go across and then go into the moving lane of traffic, and then they just bolt across when someone waits, and then they get T-boned because the other side of traffic's moving at such high speed. It's like, you're an idiot. I'm very much the type of person that will purposefully, if I miss my turn, I'm not gonna just flip a U-turn. I will go down, do what I need to do, and come back. And I've literally said it before, on the highway, I've gone like 20 minutes out of my way because I accidentally went the wrong way on the highway once, trying to get up north somewhere I hadn't been yet. And so I had to go down to the next exit and turn around. But you know what? You get to drive. It's whatever. It's not a huge deal. Just, you know, don't be stupid. Or as Phil DeFranco likes to say, don't be stupid, stupid. Like, it's not that hard. Well, I guess common sense isn't that common. I guess that's that's the reality of the situation, but oh, I wish it was more common than it is. But oh well. But yeah, if I ever get the chance to build a cockpit, I mean, honestly, that would be awesome. And I do have most of a setup in terms of, you know, at the desk. Like, I've got my wheel and shifter and pedals. I do have a joystick. I really like to get some better hands-on flight controls. I'd like to get some sort of setup going for Farm Sim that actually properly works for me, because the way that I do that now is using the joystick on the top of the desk, but it's kind of far for me to reach, and for whatever reason, like, and I've used tractors with joysticks in real life, I can't get my brain to work right with the ones in Farm Sim. Like, there's something about it that just, maybe it's that there's no feedback like there is in real life. Like, when you use hydraulics on anything in real life, there's that very, you know, rough feedback that you get from it, but you don't get any of that with the joystick, you know, for that. So I don't know, maybe it's just that because I have, was it Extreme 3D Pro joystick from Logitech? All of my stuff's Logitech, actually. But, it just doesn't, for me, it doesn't do it. And the wheel, too. I have, you know, Farm Sim, I love using the wheel with Farm Sim, but there's something about it that I end up always struggling with, where, like, I'll try and get the settings as close to, you know, how it feels good as I can, but it ends up being almost too loose, and I'll go to make a turn, go too far, overcorrect, have to overcorrect again, and just do this, like, fishtailing back and forth maneuver that's just, it doesn't work. So, I don't know if I'm just setting it up wrong or what, but I think it is partially to how Farm Sim... Oh, this is going to be tight. I think it is also how Farm Sim has their stuff set up. It is very tough to use. I'm going to take this nice and slow coming up. Damn, it sounds like the engine's about to blow up. Calm down. There we go. Yeah, I didn't trust that. I wanted to watch the turn on that. This one's going to be tight too, I think. Oh, I can't see because these freaking signs. Whose idea was this crap? Can't see past this one. Alright, we're good there. God, the worst sign. And we hit the guardrail, I think. See, that's why I don't like the turn axle stuff. I think that last wheel is just... It was just the last wheel was barely caught on the guardrail. That's okay, we'll pay them to fix it. Ugh. that's the only, like, I love the fact, like, and I really want to hear how that technology works. Like, I've never really researched it. It sounds really, like, I don't, because you got to think, the trailer is understanding where the truck's going and somehow turning with it. You know, I'm assuming it's not a freestanding wheel that just turns as it wants to. I'd imagine there's some sort of, you know, is there a hydraulic connection that's kind of a common thing in the UK? Because there's not in the US, for sure, which would make it very hard to do here in the US. But some way that, you know, connects your steering pump or something like that. Like, I don't have any clue how it works, but that would be very cool to learn. So I'm going to definitely do some research into that. But that's the only thing I dislike, is that it's not something you can turn off, at least as far as I know. Because what I would have done is turn it off for part of that turn to get the trailer ahead of the guardrail, and then turn it on so that we can make the arc to go to the right like that. And that's the thing too, is at least in Euro Truck, the UK exits and entrances are very tough in, one, being able to see. You can barely see other traffic, which I'd imagine if that's anything close to real life, the amount of accidents you must have, ooh, not good. But, and I'm not saying the US ones are better, but, you know, most of them are pretty, most of the US ones are really long. Like, there's a big distance you have to go to get to the end of the ramp. And usually they're very level with the road. They're not on that incline at all anymore. So you can see, you know, a pretty good distance. We're going to slow right down because we're going a little too fast here. You feel her tipping a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. There's ooh, slow down. It did not like that curve. I could definitely feel it going there. Do not want to flip the truck. That would not be a good day for us. You can feel it pushing on the truck. It's tipping the whole truck. That's amazing. But yeah, I don't know. And I'm not trying to just talk trash on the UK roads. Obviously, I don't know. Oh, come down. Come on. I don't know how it is in real life, but, you know, I'd be interested, because I've never been to the UK. The farthest I've been is on US soil to Virginia. That's the farthest I've traveled. So I've not really been, you know, around the world. Eventually, if I ever get the money, I would love to travel if, you know, Britain hasn't burned itself to the ground. But, or if the UK hasn't burned itself to the ground and all that fun stuff. But I don't know. And it doesn't help that it's kind of hard to travel right now, just in general, with certain politics happening, which I'm not going to get into, but it is the reality of the US right now. Travel is very scary. At least I think, when it comes to international travel. But it is what it is. Eventually I'll get to a point where maybe I can do that, and if I can, I would love to. There's a couple things that I want to do, and I think I've discussed it before, is I really want to go to F1 races, and I really want to go see some of the truck shows that they have in the UK and abroad, you know, which I've seen through people like Luke C in an HGV, his channel. He's done a lot of stuff. I would love to meet him someday and just see him in person and, you know, see his ride, because obviously you get to see these people through the camera lens or through your screen, but it's very different, you know, to meet the person. And I'm not saying, like, I'm saying, you know, he goes to these shows, sets up a booth, and is there for people to meet him. I'm not gonna go to his house. I'm not gonna be that person, you know. Don't be that person. I was like, at least in the US, we have guns. If you show up at someone's house and you get shot, you're the idiot. I'm sorry. You know, stuff like that, you know. And I'm not even gonna touch any of the gun stuff, but, like, that's what I'm saying. It's, like, so dangerous, yet people are so obnoxious about it. It's like privacy. Well, I guess privacy doesn't exist anymore in some ways, but just don't do that. Just don't be that person. Just be smart. Don't be stupid. Like, it's really not that hard. Just don't do it. Man, I love that. That is the best thing he came up with. But yeah, I would love to get over and you know, because I have seen a truck that's imported in the US once, which is it belongs to a local company somewhere, and it's got those turning axles on the back too. It's It's got wheels almost down the entire thing. It's a very interesting truck. I don't remember what it is, and I have yet to be able to find any pictures of it. But it is a European truck. I think it is I want to say it's either a Volvo or a MAN. I don't know. But I really, really want to get the opportunity to go over and see some of those trucks in person, because I get to, I get to drive them on here and, see pictures of them, but you don't get that one-on-one interaction that you do in real life when you get to see them in person. And that's the thing too, is like flight sim. My favorite thing to do growing up was, we had Brunswick Naval Air Station. It's now Brunswick Executive Airport here in Maine. But they used to do the air shows with, people like the Blue Angels, stuff like that. Excuse me. And I loved going there. I mean, I got to see the F-22 flying the year or two after it came out and stuff like that. And it's so, like, you get to fly these planes in a game or you get to see pictures of them, but there's nothing like the rumble and just, like, it literally shakes your entire body like it's gonna shake apart, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know if I have to wait here. I guess I'm going. I don't know. I don't know if I was supposed to wait, and if I was, I'm sorry. It is 4:17, but the sun's bright, so I'm gonna turn my lights off. At least my running lights all stay on, but the headlights I'm gonna turn off for now, because it's kind of that glow of the sunset, I think. Oh, come on, you got it. Slowly but surely, we got this. We are on the M6, heading north? Does the M6 head north or east? I don't know. We should be up and rolling, come on. You got it. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to do down the road. Eventually, it would be so cool. I really wanted in the US, I wanted to get my CDL, but every time I go to get my CDL, I either, or anytime I go to start working on it, I'm too busy. It doesn't impact my job, like it doesn't make a difference for me. And to be quite honest, if you ask, and I don't know if maybe this is too broad of a generalization, but in my experience, any single time I've spoken with a truck driver, because I worked in a warehouse unloading trucks, so I got to do it all the time. In my 2 years doing that, I had hundreds, if not thousands, tell me, do not get into it now. It is not worth it anymore. And that was kind of, I don't know if I'm supposed to slow down or not. That was very disheartening for me, because my dream growing up, there's a few things that I wanted to do, but towards the forefront of it, I really wanted to get into truck driving. I really wanted to do that as a job. I followed all these people and got to see what it was like, and I understood how tough and dangerous it was, but, I grew up surrounded by that whole community. I have family members that used to drive truck. I'm very heavily involved in that. But right now, if I was to go get my CDL, it's for nothing other than personal, like, I don't want to say leisure, but like just for fun of it, because I don't need it for a job. I won't need it for a job. Obviously, if I'm on the fire department, I think at least here, if you have your CDL, it exempts you. Like, when you learn how to drive a fire truck or an ambulance, you have to take a course called EVOC. I don't know if it's EVOC and AVOC or if it's just EVOC. I think we have two different ones here in my state. One for ambulance, one for fire truck. But you have to get a specific, certification. Like, you have to go through a specific class for it. If you have a CDL, they'll teach you to drive the truck and stuff like that. Like, you still learn how to operate. Obviously you have the sirens and equipment, and whoever's typically driving the truck is also the operator, so the pumper or whatever like that. But if you have your CDL, you don't have to take that additional class. They just teach it to you as we do like a normal training. So if I ever got back into the fire department and did that again, I could use it for that. And I would love to get back into the fire department. But right now, living in the city, I don't have, and I say city very loosely, because it is a city, but it's not. It's a city on a much smaller scale than your average city, so. But, you know, if I ever got back to it and I could do it, I would love to. My only thing is, personally, I have a fear of heights that I've never been able to get past. And, you know, working on the fire department, you can't really have that, which sucks. Obviously, they can make exceptions in some cases. You know, here in Maine, we don't have as many huge structures, but we still have structures in some areas that require you to, you know, climb a ladder or do stuff like that. And for whatever reason, you know, one thing that I needed to work on was my physical strength. I really was lacking in some of my physical strength here and there. I got back into it and got some of that, you know, fixed. I was able to not necessarily work out, but through just being busier, naturally, you know, get some strength and do it that way. But the one thing that I still haven't really gotten past, and I say that I would still love to get more in shape. I'm still very much unhappy with where I am in that, and it's something that I need to work on for sure. But you know, is what it is. I'm very busy at the moment, and it's tough to make time for that sort of thing. But eventually get to a point where I can make that time, and so I'm doing as much as I can right now, and then I can do more later too. But at least with the fear of heights thing, I've never been able to get past that. I don't know why. There's just like, and when I was working at the warehouse, you know, I was driving a forklift, and the way that we stacked goods involved lifting them, you know, it had to be over 13 feet in the air. I think it was way more than that, you know, 20 feet or more, you know, we had different steel racks at height that you would stack these items on. And so I'd be sitting there in my forklift with literally hundreds of pounds of weight basically directly over my head. And, you know, I mean, and if to give you a perspective, if you walk into Walmart and look straight up, you know, that was how we had to look to place stuff, was nearly straight up. The lights made it really difficult. But you know, even then I would do that, and I had this sinking feeling every time I put stuff up. Even after 2 years, every time I would lift something up, I always felt not necessarily nauseous, but like just not, something about it didn't feel good to me. So I don't know. So hopefully I can either manage to get onto a department and find a way to work through that, or find a way to be on a department and not have to worry about that. I guess we'll just have to see. But I do genuinely love the fire department, you know. A lot of really good people, most of the time. Occasionally you deal with idiots, and, you know, at both departments that I was at, there were people that I wouldn't consider professional by any means of the word. So, and the other thing too is it was all volunteers, so you have to have the time to do it. And I think the biggest problem with the shortage now is you've got two big things. You've got a bunch of older guys that are split between either being super supportive of the younger guys or being super ignorant towards the new guys and trashing on them for being anything, you know, they don't have the knowledge, so they treat them like idiots. And there's no split. They either support them or they don't, and that's what I've always dealt with. And so that's part of it. But the other part of it is, you know, people my age, you know, 20 and up, are really, you know, they're too busy trying to figure out how to get themselves out of debt or find a way to make a living to even consider going and putting their time aside. And I'm split on, you know, I'm kind of disappointed that people aren't able to do that, but, you know, because it's part of it. That's, you know, you sacrifice some of your life to be able to do that and support your community. But the problem is some of these people, and I'm here right now, I don't have anything I can sacrifice. I'm already like, my time is spoken for unless I take the 8 hours, you know, and you know, I try to sleep 8 hours a day if I can. I don't always, but if I took that time and went into the fire department, I could do it. But then you can't function as a human. Like there's just so much going on in the world today that interferes with it, and of course with it being volunteer, it's just that next level of, you know, they're not getting anything from it except for the training and the skills and the knowledge, things that really I wouldn't consider, vital to survival anymore. Or even, I would never consider them vital to survival. Most of the stuff you learn in the fire department is a very particular thing that you only really ever use at the fire department. Obviously, you can find other ways to use some of that information, but typically, it's just for the fire department. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna drop this off real quick, hopefully pull in, be nice and easy. Actually, I wonder if I have to... Nope, we're good. There we go. Oh, we'll put our axle up. But yeah, you know, hopefully someday if I can get back to it, I would love to. But right now, it's not really. I'm gonna go here because I got a couple minutes ahead of this guy. It's not really in my list of things that are gonna be happening anytime soon. So we'll just have to see. You know, it all depends on where my life goes over the next few years. And personally, if I was to do anything, I would love to get back to being on a rural department. There is nothing like that camaraderie and stuff like that. Like, my favorite memories are sitting in the back of a fire truck, you know, sirens are blaring, everyone's rushing to an emergency, and it's typically something horrible. You know, someone's struggling through something, and we're able to sit in the back of the truck, knowing what's coming, but, you know, laughing and joking and supporting each other. There's nothing like that. Like, the world's lacking support for each other right now, so it's nice to be in that community, because that community is, I would say, one of the most supportive group of people you'll ever meet, in terms of, like, they know, you know, typically they know exactly what you deal with and stuff like that, and it's just excuse me, it's very nice to have people like that. But yeah, that was a nice conversation. Let's go ahead, let's shut her down and call it a night. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit the like button. If you didn't, you know what to do too. If you really liked it, you can go ahead and subscribe. And if you liked it just that little bit more, there is a bell next to that subscribe button you can hit that will notify you every single time I upload. And as always, I will see you next time. Peace.